Hello and welcome to Team PokeMart, your one-stop shop for things that you need to stop and or shop for. And today I come to you with an intriguing question, because I would like to know how many eggs you, valued customer, would use in an omelette. Would it be 2 eggs, 4 eggs, perhaps even 6 eggs? And I'm really hoping it's 6, because we've just run into a shipment of these egg Pokemon things, and for whatever reason they only seem to come in packs of 6. Also often cracked and split open, so look, I'm perfectly willing to admit that these are not, the greatest quality of eggs on the market, but I can guarantee you that they are the cheapest. And in this kind of economy, or egg economy, if you will, who are you to ignore such great value? I mean, they're not chancy eggs, but then again, if you can afford chancy eggs, then it's highly unlikely that you would be shopping at a Team PokeMart to begin with. Anyway, this 6-pack of egg dudes can be yours for the very simple price of subscribing to Team PokeMart, which will also keep you up to date on all of our latest stock, as well as grant us access to all of your valuable metadata, allowing us to target very specific ads your way, and hopefully managing to alleviate you of the daily burden of carrying your currency. Don't worry, dearest customer, Team PokeMart are always here to help. But right now, it's time to learn about eggs. The EXEGGCUTE line is a fascinating range of Pokemon showing off the sheer creativity of Generation 1 within its initial form. Because EXEGGCUTE is essentially what happens when you are charged with designing this whole world of magical, amazing creatures, but unfortunately, you've just happened to skip breakfast that day. So as a result, you draw your fantasy meal, give it some eyes, and bam, that's a Pokemon right there. And as such, this is what we have to work with. EXEGGCUTE is considered a singular Pokemon that consists of 6 very light pink eggs, each sporting their own aesthetic wear and tear, with various cracks, and in fact one member of the gaggle usually goes so far as to have its inner yellow matter exposed, which always kind of creeped me out as a child, and still as an adult. And this is primarily because I don't know what this yellow substance actually is. I mean, conventional logic would say that it would be egg yolk. However, conventional logic also does not allow for anthropomorphic eggs to exist in the first place, so I'm not so sure that we can turn to that in this particular situation. If anything, this yellow goop could very well represent the brain matter of this particular egg lad, which I don't know about you, but the thought of a light breeze brushing up against my literal brain matter kind of gives me some brain freeze just thinking about it. Having said all of this though, EXEGGCUTE is actually much more closely related to the idea of plant seeds rather than eggs, and it does allegedly carry the genes of various plants as well as other living species. Well, with the exception of that one particular egg seed, where those genes are almost certainly going to tip out at some stage. In any case, these Eggos are characterized by rather simplistic eyes and mouths, which they use to see and speak respectively. Revolutionary, really? Not to each other though, because EXEGGCUTE is actually a dual-type Pokemon, being both grass and psychic. And that second one is very important, because this means that this council of 6 can communicate with each other using telepathy, which is pretty cool. Not many eggs can do that. But this psychic splash also happens to be EXEGGCUTE's main line of defense from predators such as Pidgeotto and Crabrawler, who are generally chased away by the ever-fun power of psychokinesis. So I'm afraid there will be no delicious egg juices for those two here today. However, if one egg does go missing due to a predator or other unforeseen shenaniganry, then the remaining members of EXEGGCUTE will then need to replace it with a similarly sized Pokemon. So I imagine that a Togepi or a Happiny would do quite nicely. You're in EXEGGCUTE now, deal with it. But this is because the mental state of the various EXEGGCUTE is rather fragile, and with any less than 6 members it becomes incredibly anxious, nervous, and cowardly, thus in a very weird way making EXEGGCUTE the ultimate introverted extrovert, requiring the company of 5 other eggs at all times, but only within its private, secluded space and network. But the full potential of EXEGGCUTE does not come to a halt here, and when exposed to the sorcery of a leaf stone, EXEGGCUTE will immediately evolve into its significantly derpier incarnation known as EXEGGCUTOR. So, well, we've made some changes here, haven't we? And first up, this is where the whole EXEGGCUTE being a seed thing starts to bear some fruit, some egg-shaped fruit, because EXEGGCUTOR has sprouted into a palm tree with some chunky legs, that is. And in terms of heads, EXEGGCUTOR will have anywhere from 3 to 6 of them now, meaning that during evolution, EXEGGCUTOR either decides to abandon half of its former comrades, or those heads fuse together, which may explain the perpetually dazed and confused looks on all of them, which is certainly prone to happen after a mind melding. But what's more interesting is that EXEGGCUTOR's heads appear to be entirely independent, which is very much the opposite of the very needy EXEGGCUTE, and considerably more awkward, because obviously all of these heads have to share the one body. Meaning that they do need to be completely in sync to make basic decisions about stuff like where to walk, what to eat, and very importantly, where to excrete their egg leavings. Because, you know, when you have 3 less than sharp minds, it only takes one of them to want to crap in a corner of your house in order to ruin general existence for everyone else. Damn egg coconut things. And just look at his face. Make no mistake, he's proud of his behavior. Now, interestingly enough, Exeggutor is a very rare example of a Pokemon that is capable of de-evolution, and this occurs if one of Exeggutor's heads fall off, in which case it will land, hopefully unbroken, on the ground, and it will group up with other fallen heads to create a new Exeggcute and start the cycle all over again. Although this does make me wonder what happens to the Exeggutor if and when all of its heads do eventually fall off. I mean, I guess they just form a series of new Exeggcute and leave their former Exeggutor body lying around to return to the earth, because that is the wonder of egg nature. But if this specific egg tree isn't quite your preferred piece of combined flora and fauna, then there does exist another option, because if you were to expose an Exeggcute to a leaf stone in the Alola region, then it will become an Alolan Exeggutor. And this strange creature is immediately recognizable as it has fully embraced the manifesto of the palm tree, growing its neck to the highest extremes possible, which is canonically and pseudoscientifically explained by the idea that Exeggutor are exposed to far more sunlight in the Alola region than any other. And as such, it can become 5 times taller as well as grow an extra tree on its tree butt. And this rear growth even has its own extra head, which is noticeably different, being much more green in nature and seemingly making this permanent sort of duck face, which look, here, I can do it too. But all of this is perhaps to signal that this egg fruit is not yet ripe for the pickings, at least in comparison to the upper heads. Although what I will say is that these green heads look surprisingly happy for being what is effectively the designated butt protectors of Alolan Exeggutor. I'm not quite sure how the Exeggcute worked out which one of them would be delegated to that role, but I do not envy them. However, I do most certainly empathize with them, because working in retail can sometimes feel like being stuck in the deepest, darkest arse realm of this world. You know, customers farting requests at you on one side and upper management farting orders at you on the other, and in the end it all just mixes together to create this inescapable retail stench that will never leave my nose, not even in my sleep. So you know what, actually, sign me up to be the butt head on this Alolan Exeggutor. That life doesn't sound so bad after all, especially because being this egg comes with a degree of psychic power, which is questionable because some real information worth bringing up, as opposed to everything else I've said, is that Alolan Exeggutor abandons its grass psychic dual typing and instead becomes a grass dragon dual type. Yes, you heard that word correctly, and yes, I said it correctly, dragon. So while Charizard, a fire-breathing lizard, cannot be considered a dragon, apparently a coconut tree can. And you know what, this is the point where I'm seriously beginning to wonder if I'm the crazy one here, and I've just misunderstood what a dragon is my entire life. And now this is usually the point in the video where I ramble on at great length about all of the prominent trainers who have used a member of this Pokemon line in their parties. But the really awkward thing about the Exeggcute line is that very, very few people seem to want to delve into this line. Although one very notable figure would be Blue, who has the option of carrying an Exeggutor in his party in the original games. Although depending on the starter you choose, this can be substituted out for the significantly more impressive Gyarados. However, in subsequent game appearances, Exeggutor is a mainstay of Blue's team, proving that there is at least one person out there who can truly harness the dubious power of Egg. And I guess that Will of the Elite Four also uses an Exeggutor, but Will is a very strange man in a bondage mask whose opinion on anything should never be trusted under any circumstance. Some more fun facts about the Exeggcute line. Whilst Pokemon from this line aren't generally known for actually, you know, being used by anyone, they do make some pretty fantastic training fodder. And in fact, 2 of Ash's Pokemon have evolved as a direct result of defeating Exeggutor. One of which would be Krabby, who became a fearsome Kingler after defeating an Exeggutor in the first round of the Indigo Plateau Conference. And the other was of course Charmander, who after beating several Exeggutor, turned into a delicious Charmelon. This line also comes with a fair few exclusive moves, as Exeggcute and Exeggutor are the only known Pokemon that can learn Barrage. Although Barrage is widely known as a pretty profoundly awful attack, thus making it actually a detracted feature in terms of selecting the Exeggcute line. Meanwhile, Alolan Exeggutor is the only Pokemon that can learn the move Dragon Hammer, despite it being neither a dragon nor a hammer. And that's right, I don't care if it's officially labeled as a dragon type, because if this tree is a dragon, then so is Sudowoodo and Trevenant. I mean, look, they both demonstrate the qualities of dragon that we're looking for, given that they do resemble trees, although Sudowoodo is a pure rock type and Trevenant is a grass ghost, so look, they have their confusing issues as well. But all disgruntled ramblings aside, for now, apparently Alolan Exeggutor is considered a dragon due to coming coming from the Dracana genus of trees, which encompasses a lot of different species, some of which are palm trees. It is still dumb though. Trees are not dragons. I don't care what you say. However, the people of Alola do claim that Alolan Exeggutor is actually the true form of Exeggutor, as it is depicted in ancient cave carvings. And once upon a time, this may have indeed be true, and a more domesticated path of evolution may very well be responsible for the development of our more chode-like Exeggutor. And finally, a truly useless fact: despite it not having an Alolan form, apparently Exeggcute found in Alola are heavier, due to its shells being packed full. Full of what, you ask? I don't know. It doesn't say. And I don't know why you're asking me anyway. Do I look like some sort of egg scholar or something? Just buy the stupid things. I've said enough. And there you have it. Everything you wonderful consumers need to know about making a semi-informed purchasing decision. Now, I want these eggs gone by Saturday, so please waste no time in rocking up to your local Team PokeMart and freeing me from this eggy burden. And you know what? Speaking of eggs, this mystery egg is still here. Remember that whole thing? Well, it's just been sitting here for like 4 episodes now, doing absolutely nothing. I mean, what does it think it is, a Team PokeMart employee? Oh wait, it's hatching. Oh, how exciting. What kind of mystery Pokemon will this be? Find out on the next exciting episode of Team PokeMart, is what I would say if these videos were in any way exciting. I'm still not going to tell you what it is though. Watch the next video. And you know what? While you're at it, like this video and comment in the comment section with what kind of Pokemon you predict this mystery egg will be. But for now, this has been Team PokeMart, and I'll see you next time.